Hello, everybody, and welcome to our after church tea time. To introduce ourselves before we start, I am Granville Campbell.
I am Kanisha Moore Castillo.
I'm Lisi Mappis.
Thank you, ladies, for joining me today. So from today's sermon, I think there were quite a few takeaways, and I love the new perspective that Abir shared on just exploring what things could possibly be, attachments or not. And it's just, it's just interesting to look at it from a new perspective, because I sometimes feel like we have the sense of what it is, and it's just about kind of opening up awareness that it could be more and it could be different. So yeah, I'm going to open up with that and see how you both felt about the sermon today.
Great. Well, I'll start. I was surprised, I wouldn't say surprised, like in a shocked way, but I'm always taken deeper by the Church of Union, Jeff and Shaleia, and all of the ministers of union on what that means. And I had first learned of attachment through some meditation groups that I was part of, about letting go of attachment was what it was all about. And um, I had this idea that it was like letting go of something that I desired. That was my idea of what letting go and letting it go. And my definition before this was goodbye, don't hold on to what you desire. But I was actually taken deeper in a different kind of way to look about attachment. And what really struck me the most, like kind of the general theme of what Abir was sharing, was attachment and or non-attachment and unconditional love go hand in hand. And I didn't actually put the two pieces together. And a lot of what she spoke to were like the attachments to the ideas we have about ourselves inside. And that was different from what I had always heard of in spiritual talks about attachment. So it felt really loving and healing to look at attachment this way, and look at attachment from how we're participating in our external life from starting from within. So that was like my general takeaway.
Yeah, I can agree. That was kind of a bigger piece for me too, is really looking at the places where I was attaching to an identity or attaching to certain beliefs about myself that I had picked up from childhood. Instead of really like examining them, I think I just kind of took them for what they were and it's just like, okay, this is who I am or this is my pattern. But recognizing that it was because I had an attachment to that belief. And um, that's something that I think was always kind of a struggle for me on this journey, was understanding really what it meant, what attachment actually meant. And to explain it in like the physical body, it's almost like this yearning or like this wanting to like grasp onto something. And as you feel deeper into it, a lot of times it's fear of either like the unknown or abandonment. And I think at one point she even talked about how control equals attachment, and really feeling into where you're trying to control and manipulate the situation in order for it to work out for you and for it to unfold the way that you desire it. But really recognizing that all of the people that you have a relationship with is, again, your relationship with God. And as she brought that clarity there, it reminded me, those, even though that was something I knew, it's just a reminder that we're only having one relationship with God, and that there is no need to attach to each individual person, and that we can let go of the title of that. To be able to let go of the title felt really relieving to me, because then it's like I can just enjoy their presence and enjoy being with them and just loving them unconditionally, instead of trying to figure out where is this going or what am I getting out of this.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, just, releasing the label, no matter what the label is or in what space that label sits, was actually, as you said, quite freeing. It's like, yeah, actually, I desire freedom in this space. And so if I don't call it something, I'm allowing for it to be what it is. I'm allowing for it to open up the way it would without me going, oh, well, you know, this was the experience before, so it's kind of going to be a similar experience. It's kind of going to be the same thing over and over again. And then now it's just like, oh, well, you know, it's a new thing. It's a new thing. We're connecting on a different level. It's a new thing. And so I'm open to difference in that space where I probably would have in the past gone, like, what's happening here? You know, and I have often gone, like, you know, people have done something different. I'm like, what is that? What is going on here? And the fact is, that was the energy that you're speaking to around, you know, that controlling energy. Like, the minute you want to put a sticker on it or a label on it, you kind of blinker the experience. You kind of blinker the relationship. So you don't open it up to the possibilities of what is actually there. And so now that, you know, like just going through it now and kind of feeling into the relationships I have now, it's very easy to go, okay, I'm going to spend time with these people for these couple of hours, but I'm not attached to spending time with them next week. Or I'm not even attached to, okay, we made this arrangement, we're all here, so this is where we must be. If you need to do something, you need to be somewhere else, that's okay, we had our time. I'm gonna just be free in this space. And it just feels a lot lighter. Like it really just allows me to relax more into kind of being present in the moment and letting the moment unfold as it will. And again, you know, and letting it unfold is not also saying fall for anything. It's kind of let it unfold and be open to it, but also don't judge it, don't box it, don't force people into a mold of what that relationship had. Don't force yourself into a mold of how you've interacted with people before. So if you feel like something different is required, it's so much easier to flow with the energy of that difference, as opposed to going, oh, something's wrong, something's up. It definitely feels a lot healthier and a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm. And thank goodness that even if something does not feel right, you can just mirror it. Yay.
Sure.
It's really that simple. But yeah, no, absolutely. I love what you shared there. Of in truth, you're really like kind of relieving them too, because you're not putting this pressure on them unconsciously of them being your source and looking to them to provide whatever it is that you desire within. And it allows you to see everyone as equally as your brother and sister. That was something that Beer had touched on, where like we brought up being told like this is your brother, this is your sister, and you have to like treat them a certain way. But in unionism, it's like we really take on the understanding that everyone is our brother and sister, and that in truth we're having one relationship with God.
I liked what you shared, like both of you, like the freedom aspect of letting go of all you think you know about someone else and a situation, like whatever you're thinking it's going to be like, letting go of the idea of putting someone in a box, and then actually kind of extending that to yourself, like putting yourself in a box and making it, you know, so that you aren't allowing the freedom for yourself to just be you. So that was really helpful too. And I feel, you know, like one of the examples that Abir used was like, you know, I will not allow myself to love myself until I reach a certain weight. And I have experienced that thought in my head a couple times. And so it was just, you know, that's just one of them, of like constricting the freedom, your divinity, really. It's like what you were saying, Kanisha, regarding your brothers and sisters. It's like honoring your own divinity and theirs too at the same time. So yeah, I really like that, what you said.
You know, and for me, like one of the things that I've had to learn over the last probably 2 to 3 years was actually just trusting the peace. like actually accepting the peace and trusting the peace. Like, it's okay to be peaceful, it's okay to be relaxed. And I recall, at one stage I was like, is relaxation equaling laziness for me? Because and literally this was something in the background, and I can't actually tell you how I grew up with it, but that energy of the hustle. Everybody was always hustling, always busy, something needed to be done. And I recall, in childhood, I wouldn't, like, if my family wanted to do something, it was really okay for me for them to do something without me having to join them, which of course they didn't quite understand at the time, but neither did I. And it's just that's my natural state. I'm much more peaceful. And somehow I learned that I needed to hustle more. I needed to always be busy to feel productive and to feel energetic. And then as I've been healing this space, it's like I had these like weird ideas about what relaxation actually means for me. And so I wasn't trusting the peace because I wasn't accustomed to the quiet. I wasn't accustomed to not having to do anything. And there's always something to do. But like in my mind, it was like the sense of I must be busy. I must do something. There's gotta be something going on. And if it's too quiet, something's wrong. So yeah, it's, like just feeling into that. And with Beer Sermon today, it's like, yeah, like that weird conditioning. And we don't even realize how we internalize it. We really don't. And like as we get healthier through our healing, we start to realize that there are things about us that are just naturally a certain way. It's just normal. It's natural to feel peaceful. It's natural to be able to relax. But that was the process of healing that I've probably gone on for the last 3 or 4 years. And like as I relax, then I find the layers of conditioning because my mind is comfortable. So it surfaces, so I can heal it. But it is literally this process of journeying into myself all the time, but through trusting my peace. It's like what you said in your outro, Kanisha. It's like, allow your peace to settle in. Yes, there's going to be things that you need to heal, but allow your peace to actually settle in. And there's literally something that I've worked on quite a while, is just actually accepting the peace and trusting the peace.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been a big one for me as well, because growing up in the family and just an environment that I grew up in, I was really used to like chaos and drama and something always moving and happening. And when it came to recognizing what peace was, I was confusing it with boredom. It's like, this is too easy. This is something's not right here because it's peaceful in this place. And it just was a pattern and a programming that I had of not really understanding what it meant to have peace, and that could be confused as boredom, but really it was just relaxed in that space and allowing myself to expand it deeper instead of running from my peace. That was something that I was doing because it was so foreign to me. So the more that I went deeper into always choosing peace and choosing love in those spaces, the more I was able to understand what peace actually felt like, and release that belief that it was boredom and that I needed. That was actually a self-sabotaging pattern that I had in relationships. That when things were nice and peaceful and great, I was like, okay, subconsciously, it's like it's time to just kind of wild things up here and create chaos because it's too peaceful and I'm not about it. So that is something I had to recognize about myself and get clear on maybe why relationships would end the way that they did, because subconsciously I was sabotaging.
I can totally relate. Like, definitely. And I didn't know, like you were saying in the intro, like you don't know you're doing it. Like
Yeah.
you don't know, you don't become aware till you become aware. But
Mhm.
yes, looking back, I felt uncomfortable when things are going well because I always felt like, when's the other shoe gonna drop?
Yep.
Like, when's, if it's going well, something's gonna happen. And so I would always try to, I think what I did was I tried to make it happen first. So I had the control. So I could make the bad thing happen, and then I was in control of it instead of, but the thing is, as I learned through the teachings of union, um, I realized that I was manifesting these experiences, like that I was choosing them on the inside. And so that's why they were happening, not because it was happening to me. So I was attached to them. Like I was attached to drama. I felt like I exerted, I was really good at handling the drama because I was so used to it. And then later I was like, well, I could, take all this energy and do something positive in the world. All that drama responding, I could maybe do something else, with God. And anyway, but it is like you were both sharing, it's a process of undoing those pieces of conditioning, um, and to learn what love really is and how God really wants to love us and what is love. Baby, don't hurt me. Sorry. I'm sorry. I had to say that. Oh
Take it
man.
anyway.
Oh my god, I love it. And actually, I love that you bring that up because that's really is like the next piece is I personally have been experiencing a lot of clients who are like, well, why would I want to love in this space if I'm just going to get hurt? Like they uh, have established in their mind that love equals hurt. And I have to like remind them that actually love is not the same vibration as hurt. So it can actually be the same. It's just you have a lot of people who do not understand how to love unconditionally and they misuse it. And so it's not the love that hurt you, it was the person who was doing whatever they were doing that their actions is what caused that illusion of hurt and upset. And a lot of the times it's because these people are not moving from a place of unconditional love. They're moving from a place of conditioned love. And then they open themselves up to the the illusion of separation because they're establishing this person trying to love me and now I'm hurt. And so having to get clear with a lot of my clients that like love and hurt are not the same vibration. It's just when people misuse it and getting clear that you can have compassion for those who don't know how to love unconditionally, and that don't a lot of the times aren't even aware that they're not loving unconditionally until it's pointed out to them. I noticed that for me, when it was pointed out to me, is actually pointed out to me by my twin flame wasn't the most gentle way to be pointed out to, but it was pointed out where it was like, you have a motive here and you're not loving me unconditionally. And I had to sit back. At first I wanted to be really defensive because in my mind I was loving unconditionally, I was just giving and loving. But as I really looked at it and felt into it, I was like, no, energetically he's very right. I'm I'm loving from a place of conditions and there's almost an expectation that I'm going to receive something back. But to love unconditionally is where you allow love to just flow, and then just allow yourself to know that you're always going to be receiving back from God. And so just to release expectations there and allow yourself to give freely.
Yeah. Like in the situation you described, like the love that was being sought was like sought outside. Like I'm trying to get it out here, but when you learned that like you can actually have that right now, like you're 100% lovable now, and you can actually have all of that love now by loving yourself. And I experienced that too in my union where, as I look back, my twin flame was trying to get one thing, like foundation from me or stability from me, and I was trying to get something similar but in a different way from being with him. And so I just let go of all that attachment, and in learning how to really just love myself now all the way, like not um I'm only going to be loved when I accomplish this thing, when I get into union, or when I lose this much weight, or when my finances look like that. And I know that we all learn these things in our head. But I realized in my heart I was still holding on to the patterns. And I guess I just feel really a lot of relief in letting go and letting go of attachment to trying to get love here, even the kind of love that's, trying to get approval from others, and just giving it to myself now. It really, really helps. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a significant difference. And like, I think, Kanisha, what you were sharing around not quite knowing how to unconditionally love, like when I feel into it, it's like it was a foreign concept to get into. Like, you hear it and you probably have a conception of what it is. But to actually sit back and go, do I actually know how to unconditionally love? And what you're sharing, Lisi, around like, when I put these conditions on myself that I have to achieve something or be something or do something in order to love myself more, like all of that stuff feels like just this heavy, heavy baggage that we carry. And like, I know, like going through the teachings of union and unionism, it's like, unconditional love, what is that? What does that actually feel like? Because I don't recall ever feeling it at any point in my life. And so then I made the mistake of, well, if it's different to everything else, I'm chucking everything else out, which also didn't work. It's like, okay, well, there's a whole lot of crap here, let's chuck it all. But the fact is, it's not all crap. It's kind of sifting through it, finding what's really good and working with it, and finding what's not so good and working with that too, and finding that balance. Like sometimes just because it's not good doesn't actually mean that it's bad. It kind of means that you kind of need to look into that space and go, okay, why doesn't it feel good? And I actually found that being loved in the way that my friends loved me didn't feel good because my family didn't love me in that way. So I was actually judging the relationships with my friends, who were much more unconditional in their loving than my family was. So it's kind of undoing that stuff and going, well, why did it not feel good to be loved in that space? What is it? And and like I actually had laughs sometimes. It was like, so bizarre. Like the thing that you want, you're kind of kicking against. And we don't realize we're doing this until we realize that we're doing this. Like you said, Lisi, you're not aware until you're aware. And once you're aware, it becomes very simple to release it. It becomes very simple to understand the difference and feel the deeper love there. But then, like I look at my family and how they love, and that's how they grew up loving. That's how they learned to love. Doesn't make it wrong, just wasn't probably the right way for me to feel loved. So that's okay. Like I can release that resentment towards them because they loved the way they knew how to love. I required to be loved differently, and so there was a friction there. But I'm in a much more comfortable space to go, okay, so it didn't quite work out the way I thought it should, but at the same time, it wasn't devoid of love. But I don't need them to give it to me anymore. It's such a nice shift. It's such a nice way to release the expectation. It's such a nice way to become more peaceful about life.
And that's really how you love unconditionally, is recognizing, like you said, it's when you look back at, oh, that's how they were taught. Like I can release resentment there and have compassion for them. And that right there is unconditional love, is recognizing like I don't have to judge them in any type of way. I can just have compassion for them. And you can be the guiding light of showing them what unconditional love is by extending that compassion to them, or you can hold it over their head. Either way, you get the opportunity to choose unconditional love or condition in that space. So I love that we can make that choice to really forgive and to have compassion, and just to recognize the truth that we are moving through life based off of what we learned from pretty much the age of birth to 7, sometimes a little bit before birth, but making the conscious choice that we're fully responsible for our reality. We're fully responsible for everything that is happening within our life. I know there's a lot of people who have a lot of resistance to that. A lot of people believe that life is just happening to them. I deeply believe that life is happening through you. And so having the strength to just take the responsibility and not shame or guilt or judge yourself for whatever the experience is, but just respecting the experience and allowing yourself to move through it with compassion. And it reminds me of in Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover, in the chapter about the 8 keys for a harmonious union and respect, it talks about when we try to control the situation, we control because we believe like that we have power there. That was something that Lacey touched on earlier, is that we just believe that we have power. And so if we can control the situation, if we can control how we're being loved, then maybe we can avoid being abandoned or hurt in this space. But really we abandon ourselves by trying to control how God moves through someone else and how he chooses to love us through that person, instead of freely just relaxing into love and into God's love.
Boom. That was great. It's funny that you said that, Kanisha, because I actually pulled out the book. I was like, oh, there's some things they're saying. I want to share. Yeah, we all got our books with us. Yeah. So what you were sharing, that, control has no real power. It has never served you. It never will serve you. Your control claims it will provide for you certainty, stability, safety, and security and power. It never, ever, ever does. It only ever results in loss of what you truly desire. You may be experiencing being in control and feeling good about that, but you will also experience a terrible backlash as a result of this, and increased separation from your divine good. And like, I was thinking about how when you were sharing that your clients felt like love hurts, and I've experienced that thought too, and my clients too, people I've seen in the open forum. And I think what really hurts is like the pattern, the conditional love, and we didn't prior to now know how to love unconditionally. And that reminds me of what I moved through with my own twin flame, who recently our union had experienced a lot of really harsh patterns. I mean, they'd always been there, but they came to the surface for clearing, like it came to a front. And it's like almost like, God through our union turned the volume up on the pattern. And right now, we aren't in communication because in my heart, I said no to the pattern within me of it was a codependent pattern, an addiction codependency loop in our union, and I said no to it. And so on the outside it looks like we're not talking, and for a little while I was like really like upheaving a lot of anger. A lot of the anger I pointed at myself. I was like, how could I have done this? How could I have not seen? And that voice was also not loving, so I had to heal that. But recently, I've started to feel like a deep sense of love for Josh, for my twin flame. And it's not the kind of love like, I love you, so it's okay to tolerate those patterns. That's not unconditional love. It's, I love you, I see that you're suffering, and that, I have compassion for you that you're making that choice, but man, I love him. Like I feel it. Like I love my twin flame. Getting emotional. And it's a kind of a breakthrough for me because it isn't with condition. Like I love him whether he's talking to me or not. I love him whether he's making those choices or not. And I love myself and I don't need him to make those choices, like to do anything. Like he doesn't need to do anything or change anything for me to love him. Now, I'm not gonna share the same space with him if he's making certain choices, but that has nothing to do with love. Like love is just always there. I'm like, I love this. And I felt like reading a part, I just go to the book all the time because Jeff and Shaleia say it better than I could, about unconditional love. They say unconditional love is a lot like compassion as described above. It means no matter what happens, you're going to love your twin flame without conditions. Your twin flame is acting like a fool. You love them anyway. Your twin flame is saying nasty things about you. You love them anyway. Your twin flame is not committing to you and is in a relationship with someone else. You love them anyway. Unconditional love is the best friend of compassion. So I think like the breakthrough there is it's in your heart. Like the unconditional love is here. It's not, it translates to actions, but through our conditioning, the actions I was taking weren't loving because I had like a little bit of things to clear. So I'll just keep going deeper in loving my twin flame, myself and my twin flame, through this way, through the non-attached way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because it's the truth. It's like we think that we're loving, and so a lot of the times we take actions outside of ourselves first before going within and actually giving ourselves that love, and then allowing God to guide us on how to actually love another. And that's something that I've had to like ask God, like, how do you want me to love this person? How do you desire to move through me? Because what I think might be unconditional love might actually be conditions, and I need you to reveal my intentions to me, because sometimes I think it's from a pure place, but as I go deeper and feel my feelings, I can really start to recognize like, oh no, there's something there that isn't quite unconditional, and I can just love myself in that place. And that's what I mean by taking like full responsibility of what you're doing and how you're showing up, is by really being honest with yourself in that space.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of stands out to me is just the kind of the wisdom of taking a step back and looking at yourself honestly. And sometimes like in hindsight, it's probably something that had to be learned. So it's like we fully believe that we have the best of intentions, but we kind of still need to get honest with ourselves and sit back and go, well, really, what is my intent here?
Mhm.
And sometimes, as you say, Kanisha, it's not as altruistic as what we think it is. Sometimes there's definitely there's an underlying creepy core thing there that I'm expecting something in return. And it's kind of been a lesson that I've also had to unpack. It's like if I can't comfortably just say yes and do it, I'm not gonna do it. Because I know the discomfort says to me something's amiss. And as you said, it's very easy to sit back and just mirror that thing. But it also takes a level of maturity to sit back and not act immediately. Because I was very much in the space of acting immediately, because it's kind of that energy of control. The sooner you get it done, the sooner it's over with. The sooner you stop something, the less it's going to continue. But again, it was just like, it was literally that energy of needing to sit back and go, oh, dude, what are you doing? What's happening? What's going on here? And being okay with the answer that I find. Because sometimes, like the answer would come through and I'd be like, holy crap, who knew that was there? Who authorized this shit? But, and like, I think through just going through Jeff and Shalea's teachings and being in the community and coaching and, just being comfortable to sit back and like to literally explore something in whatever form it came up in, just helps me not to even attach to the bad feeling. It helps me to just kind of look at it and go, okay, so that's there. What is it calling for? And it's something that Abir shared in a sermon. Like, we have been taught through unionism and through Jeff and Shaleia to go into that place and to bring the love there that we need there. And we've also been taught that we can do it for ourselves, that our source is not outside of ourselves. It just makes it so much more comfortable, because that clingy feeling to things in life or people in life or situations just doesn't exist in the form that it used to exist. And yes, it's a process of uprooting it over and over and over again, but it doesn't exist in the form that it used to exist, and it's so much more comfortable. So just checking in, how are you ladies feeling? Anything,
Good.
any last thoughts to add? Because I feel like we've gone very deep
Yeah.
and quickly.
I actually wanted to share something like really present, like in the now. Like we just, all three of us experienced like a few seconds pause. And it was something that you were sharing, Granville, earlier, like when nothing's going on, something's wrong. And I just noticed, like it was just a natural pause. And I just noticed my mind being like, should I say something? Is it Kanisha's turn? What should I do? You know? And I was like, wait a minute, this is a teachable moment. Like this is exactly what we had been talking about, where I just chose to relax, and because I didn't have the piece, like I didn't PIECE, that I didn't have the next piece. So I was thinking, well, it's not me, so I can just surrender. And I felt my feelings in that instant, like if there's this discomfort, okay, I'm gonna just love myself, and then you spoke, and it was fun. So it was like a real life experience of that, of what you had been describing.
And the funny thing is that, like, as you're saying, like we're not actually taught to be comfortable with moments of silence.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've kind of been taught to fill it. And over the years, I've learned that moments of silence actually do give you an opportunity to just take your breath and just relax. And it's okay. And it doesn't have to be filled. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's a deep reminder to be present with yourself, and to it helps me learn to respond and not react, because I used to react to everything. And so to be able to take that pause and that breath and to feel your feelings, and then to respond from a place of peace instead of reacting from a place of chaos, that's been really important. Because like you said before, Lexi, like there's times where like I feel like I have to fill the space, or that if it's quiet, like then something's wrong and one of us has to fix it. But really allowing that piece to just ground in that space, and then you're able to have a teaching moment there, which is how God works. Is he works in those peaceful moments. Not that it doesn't work in the chaos moments, but we hear him much easily when we are in a place of peace and in a place of stillness, and able to clearly hear his voice.
Yeah. I feel like we honored what God was guiding us in that moment.
Yeah. I also feel like it feels like we're reaching completion of this conversation. So just checking in with you. How are you feeling? Does it feel complete to you?
I do feel complete.
I do too.
Perfect. So I'm going to say thank you for the conversation today. It was really cool to be with the two of you on After Church Tea Time. And to everybody that's followed us, please feel free to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you'll find all our other After Church Tea Times and any other live discussions that have happened in the Unionism Spiritual Discussion page on Facebook. And we look forward to seeing all of you again soon for another After Church Tea Time. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.